Welcome back, everybody, to Team Liquid versus Evil Geniuses, a series where everything is on the line for both of these teams, including a spot at the LCS Finals weekend in Chicago. If you want to see today's winner face off against 100 Thieves next Saturday.
I want to see that.
Yeah, we all do.
I'll
already
take one
gonna be
too.
there.
Yeah.
I think we already got our tickets.
should go.
boys.
Hey, let's sit together.
Okay.
Well, if you guys want to get your own tickets, you can secure your spot at Ticketmaster.com. But wait, there's more. Pre-sale tickets for Worlds are coming your way
Worlds
soon.
too?
We are
Oh my.
working together with Ticketmaster and using a verified fan system, so scalpers do not get those tickets before you can. The last time Worlds was in North America was 2016. A North American Worlds is a rare, beautiful, and majestic creature like a Bengal tiger. Don't let it escape your claws. Get in here and get those tickets.
We should rent-
Volleysports.com for more.
Like a camper van, you know, we could drive around.
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
Do the tour.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do the traveling tour here, road trip. I do not recommend going for Bengal tigers, though.
They're cool and majestic,
Yeah.
just like a North American
And
world.
dangerous, so safety
Just like
first,
North
everyone.
America. Dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. Oh my goodness. Much like this series is for these two teams, only one of them is
Yep.
going to be able to come on the tour with us. Let's get into it though. Seraphine popped up in the last one. It was massive for Hansama.
And I'm so interested to see what the adaptations now will be, because I do think blue side is so big in this series where people are trying to pinch particular players' champion pools, right? Last time TL was on blue side, they had all these marksman bans, and then they actually grabbed Seraphine as their first pick on blue. You can't do that same thing here. So I'm really interested to see, will they actually ban out Aatrox? Will they ban out Azir? It's going to be Azir.
Yeah, I love that we've got main focus, this AD carry champion pool, and subplot of Aatrox top lane.
Meanwhile, in the top lane.
Bwipo Nemesis. What's gonna happen this time around? The Zillion. A little bit earlier than the classic Game
Yeah.
5, but already they're thinking about
They're
it.
saying, how could they win on red side? It could be the Bjergsen.
What's the Zillion?
Seems to be something that always happens in these types of moments. But okay, Seraphine's banned out, Azir's banned out, Sivir, Zeri, Callista remaining banned in this series. EG putting the priority here on that first pick, Trundle.
I'm really interested to see if we're going to actually see Senna taken away, because I think that EG will very happily just go for the first three of Trundle, Senna, TK, and just go right back to it. Yes, they did get dove by Santorin. Yes, they were punished in that first game when they brought it out, but I think they're going to be happy to go right back to it and run back that same matchup. Because especially if Inspired is able to protect them from some of the pressure that Santorin is putting on in these first two games early, I think the bot lane could go really well for him.
I mean, Hansama has been so big for Team Liquid in their success in playoffs. And so they invest that Jinx pick into him once again. When he's had the Jinx, they have had a dominant 2v2. Last game, we saw him, you know what, Hansama, you're on your own. I'm going to roam. And he's actually even stronger in a 1v2.
Turns out.
But whenever they get the Jinx Lulu, they have bottom lane pressure to play through, and that really does help Santorin play around the dragons more, play around that bottom half of the map.
All right, let's see if Azael's prediction is accurate. Will it just be Senna TK slam
Multi-run
down
back,
here
baby.
for EG?
I think so. I think the other option is Aphelios. They could go towards a scaling pick like that. You know, they could get crazy and go out towards MF if they want. And if they are going to grab the MF, then I'm expecting some sort of a lockdown.
Okay.
Like MF Nautilus could be pretty good here.
A Mumu, the classic.
Mumu as well.
Sad mummy bullet time. Let's see, what's it gonna be?
I also like the MF getting picked in the game where Seraphine is banned away, because Seraphine has such an easy way to just ult MF's ult, stop her from getting real value out of that, locking her down and accomplishing Seraphine's mission at the same time.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, there's your lockdown.
Yep, there's the lockdown. And remember, a couple patches ago, Leona did get buffed, so the increased duration on the stun, so it's harder to actually escape that. Lulu, yes, you have great peel, but if Lulu in particular is so squishy, gets locked down there by the Leona, it's an easy 100-0. We're expecting Jinx to probably be playing Cleanse to deal with it, but it's Ornn now for Bwipo here, and likely Aatrox will get banned away by TL, so they won't have to deal with it.
I really like the Ornn pick, even though you're facing Trundle, because Ornn's ultimate is so good versus Misfortune. No matter where you are, trying to stand still, channel that ultimate becomes very difficult versus an Ornn that can almost always get some interrupt off on you. And they know they can't get countered by Braum because Leona's already picked up.
Which would make it so spicy if we got a real throwback to like Impact Singed, or something like that to actually prevent the Ornn from doing it, because they're going to ban GP and Aatrox is my assumption for TL, and they'll have to see where, you know, Impact wants to take us. I think it's a super long shot, but it would be cool.
We've been dreaming that dream for so long.
Yeah. We have dreamed that little dream, my friends, and we will not stop dreaming as Jarvan is banned out. Where's that other one going to be for TL? Come on, we know. Where's the Aatrox? Come on, just throw him out there. He's the first.
It's Aatrox, and then it's probably Wukong, is my guess.
His name starts with 2 A's. He's at the top of the list.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now EG is just going to pick Aatrox, I think, for sure. And they have TL has really struggled to deal with it, right? It is harder to bully the Ornn than it is some of the other matchups, like a Sion or something like that. But I still think it's likely that they could go back to it. And I am expecting Wukong to be banned away, because that is very difficult for MF. Again, you're standing, you're firing. Wukong can really get in on that back line and cause havoc.
Yeah. The other one to worry about, you know, can be Poppy and sort of the objective, you know, duels. You always have that upper hand of ejecting a Trundle. Trundle has no dashes, and so we've seen a lot of Trundles get punted out. Not going to be the case here, though, looking at that team fight.
Okay, well, the Jarvan and the Wukong are out of there. Team Liquid, I still need to see a mid laner. I still need to see a jungler. I fully expect the jungler to be the one they pick right here. Save that last pick of the draft for Bjergsen. Give him something that really can change the game. And hey, there's the Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy, again, into Trundle. Whereas a lot of people originally were like, let's pick Trundle into Poppy because you're going to win the 1v1 duel. All the Poppy players were like, that's funny. I'm not going to 1v1 duel you. I'm going to go gank people. I'm going to kick you out of objective fights and create these numbers, you know, discrepancies that we've seen so many teams profit off of.
Absolutely, and it's not like you can ult both the Ornn and the Poppy anyway, so you already have a tank. Who cares, right? You're picking another tank there doesn't really give the Trundle something that he didn't already have.
Whenever Trundle's up against a single tank composition, I actually like seeing the second tank enter into the equation.
Can't help all of us.
You can't eat every meatball, Trundle. One of them is getting into the front line.
It's classic strategy. You got an off tank to be able to taunt him when you get debuffed by the boss.
Perfect. Yes. We're in there, boys. Anyway, we've got a JoJo Viktor locked in here for Evil Geniuses. This is the Aatrox that we were already expecting to be locked in when it didn't get banned, and there it is for Impact.
And I want Bjergsen on a control mage here. You know, into the Viktor, you can go with the Orianna still available. Yeah, Viktor does outrange, but you still do have some value here. Bjergsen could even, if he wanted to go for some kill pressure, I don't recommend it because they've got the Poppy as the jungle, but could pull out his old Syndra.
Yeah, it's interesting because it is 5th pick here, so he's going to be playing to the sides again.
Okay.
It is the Taliyah once more. Taliyah, I think, very good into the Aatrox, very good into the Trundle. These champions that have to kind of walk into you.
Yeah, and can create the wall for Poppy stuns.
True.
Every time you're looking for one of those combos.
Plus, it's what you were talking about earlier, saying, hey, when Hans and Core play the Jinx Lulu duo, they have some lane power there. You can bring Bjergsen down, really enable them and get them going.
I will say, though, the success of Bjergsen's Taliyah in the previous game was mostly predicated on CoreJJ hooking people in and then comboing the W.
Yeah.
This pick for the Taliyah, why I didn't like it as much, is you don't have someone that's going to set you up for your W. You don't have that point and click or any kind of guaranteed setup, but we shall see if he still is able to get those big picks.
I agree completely. I mean, you know, Taliyah, Leona, Taliyah, Renekton, all these combos that we used to see back in the day, that is why, because it's the guaranteed land on that seismic shove. But it's going to be an exciting one here. Can TL kind of flip this series on its head by winning on red side, you know, and really put it in their favor to force EG to be able to respond? Also, so interested to see where Danny is going to take us as far as runes and build on the MF.
Hey, I'm curious where we're going to go in terms of this early action as well. Both of our games so far in this series have had explosive early kills. We have not been waiting until 10 minutes are on the clock. We have not needed the Ring of Fire to start to close in to get some PvP. And so I want to ask you guys, is it going to be bottom lane again where things first explode, or should we be looking elsewhere here?
I mean, honestly, bottom lane has a pretty good chance down there since you've got Vulcan on the Leona looking for aggressive plays, but top lane can be volatile too.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I mean, especially if Jinx and Lulu get push, you have to really watch out for Trundle pillar into Leona Zenith Blade. That sort of engage is very, very scary. It is PTA for Danny, so we are expecting more of an auto attack focused build. I've seen PTA with lethality some, but generally it's PTA with Gale Force and really looking for that style.
Never thought I'd see fans have too much Game 5.
You can't have too much Game 5. That's like too much Silver Scrapes.
Yeah.
That just doesn't exist.
It must have been a fake tweet.
Yeah.
Fake tweet, Keck W?
That must have been fake.
Fake tweet? Okay. Well, let's see if we get any fake outs here early, because we saw last time there was an attempt at an invade early on from Evil Geniuses going on the backside of the enemy red buff. This time around, I don't see
They have
anything
eyes
coming out
on
just
JoJo,
yet.
though, so they could actually look for a collapse on him.
They could go. All right, there it is. JoJo has been found out and beat down. 1 minute and 18 seconds. First blood.
That is such good scouting. Such good prep work by Team Liquid. Warding in the side brush here. JoJo walks in and they pounce on him. No hesitation from Santorin with the flash.
I mean, that's actually so devastating as well because Hans gets first blood. The Jinx gets the gold.
Oh, no.
And I also want to say the timing of these is so important. You don't want to rush those first bloods. If you get it right when minions spawn, you delay it as much as possible.
Yeah.
JoJo actually had to walk all the way back. Bjergsen, able to, I believe, deny some of those melees before he got back.
And man, you gotta be a bit frustrated if you're the EG bottom lane. It's like, again, we can't just have like a normal game. You know, we get level 2 gank the last game, we get dove by Trundle the game before that. Now Jinx is starting with first blood. Like, give me a break.
I mean, to be fair, this is the ultimate evolution of Santorin's idea of surprising with pathing, right? The deadliest gank is the one where your opponent gets paid for somebody else dying.
Well, congratulations to him because that was the fastest first blood of playoffs. No surprise there.
Hell,
jojopyun ganked himself.
unlucky, but very nice start here for the side of Team Liquid with the money on the Jinx. Now, of course, we're talking about Hans Sama getting the money. We're talking about him getting the kill. He doesn't really have the time to go back and spend that, so he's still laning the same way that he would have otherwise been.
Yes. For now, it's just a mental advantage. Just know that I make more money than you is what he's saying.
It will translate into a long sword eventually.
Yeah, the first base is going to be where it does pay off. Inspired, though, pathing down around this bot side. They have the push, and they're trying to get the trade in, but Vulcan will take a tower shot.
Yeah, the tower shot ends up making that not be too favorable. Goes pretty even between Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid on that one, as Inspired paths around towards the mid lane here. Knows exactly where that fog is, but did step just a little bit too far forward. Bjergsen saw him.
I do like, though, that Inspired was heading down towards bottom side there, trying to cover for any potential Santorin move. Yes, it would be harder for Santorin to pull off the Poppy without any great gank assist, but back-to-back games, he got down there and really ruined them down in that bottom lane. So wanted to make sure that he had coverage.
He is in a pretty good position up there behind Aatrox.
Yeah, this could be bad news here for Impact, who does get
shot.
thrown up into the air, hit by the turret a single time. Bwipo still continuing the chase as Santorin's got the steadfast presence, keeping the chase alive here. Steps out of the side of the chains. Impact just trying to walk away as fast as he can, but try as he might, they're gonna grab the kill on this one. I would expect, there it is, Santorin tackles.
Yeah, a lot of times, you can just give the kill over to your laner, but when your laner is an Ornn, not a lot of extra damage there, so he charges in, does take that extra kill. Meanwhile, mid lane is the
And at the same time, yeah, EG actually went 3-man mid, and they do force the flash off of Bjergsen here, and Core now is caught out a little bit. Inspired looking for a redive.
Inspired comes in and drops the pillar, but the problem is JoJo already had turret aggro. He's down to 100 HP. CoreJJ and Vulcan, support on combat! Finish him!
CoreJJ asserting support dominance, and that's gonna mean,
he walked into the choppers!
No, Danny stepped on a chopper, and Hans is looking for more. He's got backup from CoreJJ, so Danny has to get away.
Oh my goodness, that mid lane confrontation was so comical. There's no minion wave pushed up, so JoJo was taking tower shots there as he moves in, and they have to call off that dive, which is what Vulcan was trying to get to. And then he finds himself in the 1v1 with the Lulu with Ignite down. CoreJJ cashing in as well. If the bottom lane, qualms were not big enough after the early first blood, now it's even worse.
Absolutely. And it's all about the seismic shove here, right? Clears out the melee minions and gets that chunk on JoJo, pulling him into the tower range there. And that cancels the dive. They can't actually walk in with the tower already heated up. And then Core does get the kill. It is a nice kill, but it does mean Flash and Ignite both down. The gold is just on a Lulu, and he's not going to have those summoners, so he has to be careful about any potential ganks.
I don't know. That's a Chad Lulu to me. I approve that 10 times out of 10. That's the way my Lulu should be playing. Machine gun Lulu. Safety's off. He's locked and loaded. He's ready to go as Team Liquid knows how to get the kills early on in the game. 1,000 gold lead. 6 minutes into game number 3 against Evil Geniuses.
It is a banger for sure. Meanwhile, the Aatrox up top side should be getting a lead here versus Bwipo, is doing so. Plus, even without that early gank, I mean, Flash's exchange might mean it's a more difficult situation to navigate.
Well, level 6 for impact on the Aatrox can be very scary, but again, Bwipo knows his job is to just lose this lane as gracefully as possible, make sure you're picking up the maximum amount of farm. CoreJJ back down here in the bottom lane. Santorin's hanging out in this brush. They can manage to tempt Evil Geniuses to jump on him, but EG's not taking the bait.
I mean, Santorin just knows that Lulu with no flash is such an obvious target for a flash Leona, a flash Trundle. To be able to get down there. So he really wants to make sure that they do have coverage. If Core steps up with this wave whatsoever, he will get pillared in, and he's probably pretty much guaranteed to be dead. That's why he's playing so far back there. They're going to look now, though.
Ansama can just walk it off. He checks with the zap. He gets far enough away. The pillar cannot trap him.
Yeah, that really good sense here by the Team Liquid bottom lane. They're like, it's too quiet. CoreJJ positions behind Hansama. He's the one with double summoner spells. He can go up. He can check the brush. They find it out. Nice job avoiding a dangerous timing window here for the Team Liquid bottom line. And it allows Santorin to continue clearing up. This Poppy was able to get the Wolves and Raptors during that time.
And he's quite a bit ahead on farm as a result. You know, the one thing that is working well for EG, yes, Jojo died at level 1, but he's quite a bit of farm ahead. You know, that pressure on Bjergsen paying dividends. The farm going well in both the solo laners for EG. And that's why they're behind less than what those kills were worth, right? You know, when you're counting in the assist gold and everything and the first blood, you would expect Field to be up a little bit more, but the lanes have been going all right for EG.
Plus, JoJo's running first strike, so that'll give him a little bit of extra money in his wallet as he tries to make sure he doesn't fall behind. Danny eating some damage from a super mega death rocket coming out of Hans, who's just trying to use this for more control over the lane as they want to get these things shoved out. Santorin and Bjergsen both pathing through the top side river towards that top lane where Bwipo has the wave frozen in front of his turret. Inspired is also up here, hits level 6 now. Big game changer in these small fights, these 2v2s, 3v3s. Trundle ulti can really warp the landscape of things. But you're going to see Bjergsen already back in mid. Both junglers still hanging around in the river.
Yeah, this is actually even diveable here. A half health Ornn.
Bjergsen trying to cheat up. He could potentially look for that ult.
Herald started. Santorin just taking it slow, nice and easy. But Vulcan's up here. JoJo's up here. Vulcan, Flash, Q. Santorin is dead. Or is he? The shield gets him away. Holy moly. Santorin lives there.
Oh my goodness, the Lulu here. CoreJJ gets there in time. Also, Santorin with the phase rush and Flash able to escape with his life. It's still going to be Team Liquid victory because Inspired will, or excuse me, EG victory because Inspired will finish up on this Rift Road, but they do avoid certain disaster. Either Bwipo was getting dove there or they were going to lose that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to get Santorin out, but they will get Herald. They did force Flash off Bwipo. They did force Flash off Santorin.
No way. It's good. Oh, it was actually in range.
Yeah, that one does get a little bit dicey. Trying to harass Danny here now under tower. Delay the recall. Danny will just walk it out. You can see JoJo cheating down towards bottom side just in case there's any sort of a dive that TL's looking for. This is so annoying.
The most annoying Lulu of all time.
Now. So Core could be in some trouble.
This might go from an annoying Lulu to a loot pinata. He gets away. He gets away. He's chilling. He's fine. I was a little concerned there for a second, though. That was maybe a little bit close to a little bit too much.
This is smart, though, from JoJo. Even though he can't actually find anything on the Lulu, he comes down to actually cover this. Yeah. Danny can reset, can go out towards mid even if he wants, where that was actually pushed in by Ornn, so they won't lose any of this farm off the delayed recalls.
And they can even rotate over to set up for this dragon. Here's another look at it. All the Viktor damage, not enough, as Santorin was able to charge through. 16 health, he gets the shield, he ult knocks up JoJo, and runs away with the phase rush movement speed.
You're sweating on those. That is not a comfortable situation, but Santorin gets out, man.
And it's such a tilter when you're on the enemy team. You're like, 16 health, you're kidding me. Like, that's supposed to be money in the pocket of JoJo right there.
That's the difference of taking the health rune in your stats or not, right? Like, that's wild.
Especially because Vulcan, you know, finally used his flash and his ignite on the Leona for that. And he was like, all right, this is my moment, you know. I saved these for this moment. Not going to find anything, though. And off of that reset, too, for Team Liquid, strong push to play through bottom lane.
These interrupted recalls are really obnoxious coming out from TL. They're doing a good job constantly stopping these bags.
It's interesting because JoJo does have his teleport, and they're trying to set up for this dragon. Vision ward placed inside on the back, but you see Inspired is up on top side of the map. So EG are like, great, you can have it, Team Liquid.
Yeah. And it isn't a very early first dragon. You know, we're 11 minutes in here, so not that big of a deal. They're going to look for a top side. But Bwipo had Spellbook Ghost, had actually, you know, with that missing flash, Spellbook over that. Is on Spellbook Ignite as well. It's TL looking for bot side again.
They land the zap on Danny, the polymorph, the tackle. He's gone. Han Sama gets a kill.
If EG comms were like we thought, and we're like, okay, Team Liquid, you can have it, that has to be part of the comms, is like, hey, they have 4 people on this dragon, and they actually even get the jump onto Danny down there. Meanwhile, Rifthold's used mid, so some money here for JoJo and Inspired.
Okay, Santorin backing away from this one as Evil Genius is looking to go after him yet again. Zenith Blade, but the disengage by getting rid of the Trundle means Santorin is perfectly safe.
And it's 3 straight games now. TL have been the ones to strike first on that bottom side to actually punish Danny here. It's clearly a big part of their game plan, of their prep coming into this, is we are going to focus Danny in draft, we are going to focus Danny in game. You can see the massive gold lead here from Hans. He was gifted first blood at level 1, gets another kill off of that play, and he is way ahead now.
His support loses the 1v1. I mean, man,
nothing's going his way. But I mean, hey, remember that it was Team Liquid that the Danny Penta that defined spring happened against. If there's any team that I would expect to just make your top 5 things to do in the game kill Danny, it would be TL.
All right, well, he is going the Kraken Slayer version for Misfortune. There are so many builds you can go on with his champion, but he sees the Ornn and the Poppy in front of him, and he's like, I'm going to have to work my way through multiple tanks here, and we've got the Trundle on our team, you know, looking to soften up that front line, so he wants to get the most out of it.
Yep, Kraken Slayer for the Misfortune, Leandries for the Viktor, as per usual, but also having that burn feels extra nice up against tanks.
It's also kind of interesting, right? Because I do feel like sometimes when you're way behind as MF, it's nicer just going like lethality builds, because then at least you can add a lot with your ultimate. It's going to be a tough game for him to really put out enough DPS to be able to pump through that front line without getting taken down, because they are going to be focusing heavily on him. But we'll see how Danny can play it out. You know, if they can get some tower gold in his pockets or something like that, to really kind of slingshot him back up to where Hans is.
Yeah, at least there's not as much dive as the previous game where he was playing Jinx. He doesn't have to worry about all these things coming directly at him. But Han Sama, speaking of the one on the Jinx, earning some turret plates while EG trying to attack.
Evil Geniuses coming up to the top side, looking for a play. Aren't going to find it. Not yet. Maybe now.
Could get a little bit baited in there. Santorin is sticking around, has the Poppy ultimate almost back off cooldown, so if things got too sticky, they could just eject someone.
Yeah, they place the control ward in the brush. They find Vulcan, still just waiting around. Inspired back towards the ramp, trying to stay out of view. Honestly, Team Liquid has 4 kills, but not even 1,000 gold lead. So EG is doing a good job keeping it close.
And it's a pretty interesting, you know, lane assignment as well, to put your Misfortune as the solo. They're just funneling solo lane experience onto Danny.
Not anymore.
They're funneling solo kill experience onto Bwipo.
And Inspired now looks for Hans on the other side of the map. Evil Geniuses try to punch back across the rift, but now Team Liquid falls in the backup. Bjergsen, he's here now too. Inspired barely lives through the rocket. Team Liquid with 5 players here in the top side. They've got control.
It's getting a bit dicey here for EG. 5 straight kills now for TL. Danny goes down again on that bottom side. The Spellbook Ignite with the Ornn ulti is something you really do have to pay respect to. It's so much burst.
Bwipo with the bot die call right there.
You just don't think that Ornn's gonna be that solo killer top laner 1v1
How
type
many
of guy.
times? How many times?
Over there. Let's watch it again.
All right, so Danny with the MF move speed is able to dodge out on the little slope from the spike, but right into the wall positioning.
Yeah, that was just really poor positioning by Danny. You know, if you want to walk forward there, that's fine if you're in the middle of the lane, but hugging the wall there gives him an easy knockup, gives him the guaranteed W, and then he early flashes on the alt redirect, so everything hits. So pretty big misplay there from Danny. Has been having a bit of a rough time in this series, feels like.
Dodge the Q only to walk next to the terrain that's already standing there, and Bwipo lets him have it.
Nicely done from Bwipo. 35 seconds till our second Drake of the game. 15.5 minutes into this one, so not super early Drake stacking by any means, but honestly, still not even a single kill on the board for Evil Geniuses is a little worrying.
It is, but thankfully for them, they're farming well, so they're actually keeping the gold pretty close here. It's 5-0, it's only 800 gold, which is not a big deal, and EG are looking to contest this. If they can take this Herald away, it would be big, but here comes the Weaver's Wall.
Okay, Bjergsen's looking to cut him off, but now he's stuck in the pit. Bjergsen could be in more trouble than anybody. It's going to be stolen by Danny. Evil Genius is ready to go. Bjergsen's in a bad spot. Jojo is still hunting, and Bjergsen is down. Santorin wants to run, but he will not escape this time. Double kill back over to Jojo. Vulcan's traded back, and Hansama is ready to get excited. The laser won't let him. It ends up being a 2-for-1 trade with an objective steal for EG.
No way, freaking Danny gets it there with the misfortune, and he picks it up. Inspired's gonna harass them a little bit more and stop the recalls here of the Team Liquid bottom lane. I swear, the comms from EG at any stage in the mid or late game are just like, hey, just group then. Yeah, we're in a bad spot. All right, just group.
Man, I've got to give so much credit to JoJo. He has been playing really, really well in this playoffs for EG. You look back to game 1, he dominated. Back here again on a control mage in game number 3 with the aggressive play. Bjergsen just kind of too far in by himself here. I think he jumped off too late. I think what he was looking to do was actually jump off into this area and then maybe harass over the wall, but exited the wall too late there. Is forced to flash. JoJo still has the ult, so he says, I'm going in. R over the wall, flashes in. There's the peel coming through from Santorin and the stopwatch from Bjerg, but it's not enough to keep him alive. And JoJo picks up a double in this one.
I just want to highlight again, Bwipo down in the Baron pit versus Danny. This time around, Danny lives, forces Bwipo to flash away. He's like, I got a Trundle here. He calls over Inspired. He is able to chase him off, and he also picked up the eyeball himself. Meanwhile, Dragon already.
Yep, it's time to get right back into it, gentlemen. We may have ourselves another team fight already. Team Liquid, they got to get that blue buff cleared out over to Bjergsen first, it looks like. Just picks that one up with another rock, and Team Liquid not interested in fighting over this.
Yeah, it is difficult to walk in. If you give up the river position, trying to walk into MF as well as Viktor is very, very tough. Walking through the gravity field, through the slows from the MF and the ulti in those corridors. So as soon as TL seed positioning around that dragon, I think they were comfortable to give it up. But it is now a 1K gold lead here, down 4 kills, up 1K. It's going to be even more. They're not even going to drop the Herald on this one. I think they're going to use Herald for the tier 2 potentially. They're just on the march here, looking to really extend this gold lead.
I feel like these bounties have told the stories here of the last couple of games. It's been a lot of JoJo versus Hansama.
Bjerg on the angle.
Bjerg looks for the wall. It'll zone everybody else away from Shelly at least. Here comes the Herald charge. Boom. Turret not dead just yet. They clear everything out. Does Team Liquid want to go for something here? Inspired thrown up into the air. Vulcan disengaging with the solar flare. Super Mega Death Rocket coming in from downtown, but it won't hit anything.
Hey, no Hansama, no JoJo, then nobody's gonna die.
True.
Those two carries are not there. It's just the children fighting.
The real fight was across the map. We just didn't see it.
Yeah. Almost get that tier 2, but not quite able to get it, so not able to get the big cash in they were looking for, but EG in a much better spot now. It looks like LDR second here for Danny, so knowing that he has to really deal with the front line, he's not going to have much backline access here besides maybe with the ultimate, so it is about dealing with the Ornn, dealing with the Poppy. It's much more of a 3-item spike build that he's going for here, and JoJo, again, going for Shadow Flame second. It's the same build he did on Azir. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go towards that Death Cat third. He is the solo AP on this team, so going for flat AP can be really, really powerful.
Yeah, he knows he needs to be that cannon. It's not a utility type of game. Those numbers need to be topping the charts if they want to come out with the dub here. 500 gold still, the lead for Evil Geniuses. Very, very, very close game. And we've seen both teams have some pretty incredible moments in the first couple of games. I feel like this is going to come down to who makes that bigger batter play.
Oh, this series is definitely on a knife's edge right now. Hansama gets excited off of taking down the turret. Sometimes you can use those as a little bit of a bait, but not this time around. Both teams giving enough space here. Just the one turret goes down.
Team Liquid backing it away. The gold lead now less than a single champion kill value in game number 3 of a tied series for who gets to go to the last spot at Worlds. I am loving this.
It's absolutely crazy, and both these teams want to be able to defend the title, for EG, and TL really wants to be able to win the LCS. That's what this team was built for, to dominate the LCS, and to have a shot at even doing that in Chicago, they must win here.
And that's been the story this year. It has not been easy to dominate the LCS. There's been so much contention at the top. There's been so much fighting at the top of the LCS standings. Meanwhile, this Baron bait is in progress. No vision actually in sight.
Okay. No vision needed. They're confident they're not going for it. Team Liquid is clearing this out, shoving it up. We've got under 2 minutes until the next Drake spawns. I don't know if we're going to get the fight there or not. Neither team really on a fast stacking type of path.
Absolutely, and it's going to be EG's turn to play pretty soon here. Basically, they got pushed on bot. Bwipo roamed up to actually answer, and now that he has to respond on bot side, EG can move up a little bit more aggressively, knowing that Impact is the one that is going to have that move. He's coming out of base here, has the Black Cleaver completed, so additional shred there for the front line, between the Trundle, the Black Cleaver, really going to be looking to try to punish some of these frontliners.
Alrighty, boys, keep your eyes on those inventories from TL as well. Bwipo is level 13. The whatever upgraded Frostfire Gauntlet is called is now activated, and that means that soon the items will start pouring in elsewhere too.
And you know what? The first one that's going to get upgraded is that Kraken for Han Sama. An Infinity Edge will be completed. Upgrade the Kraken. That is going to be the power spike Team Liquid want to try and win their team fight on.
And it just kind of feels like game 1 all over again, where it's going to be mid lane versus bot lane, right? There's these two clear points of power. EG, it's all about JoJo. TL, it's all about Hans right now. It's who can enable your carry more, who can really keep them safe, build that space that they need to get something done in these team fights. And TL has the early move on the river, but EG is going to get shoved on mid.
And this is the important part. This is what you were talking about earlier. TL getting into the river first so they don't have to check into the JoJo Viktor, so they don't have to check into Danny's misfortune.
And I love that they have Bjergsen clearing this, because he can always join with the Taliyah ultimate, so he's the perfect member to actually answer that mid push. But EG now reclaiming some space here in the river.
And Bjergsen's gonna be careful with the Taliyah ultimate. Remember, last time around, he got himself into a very bad spot.
Very precarious indeed. He's got to time it right when he jumps
on the
off
flank
of that entryway. And here it comes. Bjergsen riding the wall only a little bit, blocking off the rest of EG.
It's too early.
You can't burn it down, though.
They can't burn it down that fast. That's a pre-dragon buff. Weaver's wall.
Look at Vulcan over the wall. He's going to look for Bjergsen.
There they go. It's going to be stolen away by Inspired. Evil Geniuses starting this one off the way they want to. Danny's going to zone him out as Bwipo jumps in. Vulcan dies. Bwipo takes the kill. Team Liquid seeing what else they may be able to find. JoJo hastens himself up. Q onto the blue buff. EG still trying to disengage. They stole the Drake, but they lost their support. You take those.
Again, Inspired's able to steal the dragon, and yet the extra kills go over to Team Liquid. I think you take that any day of the week for EG.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon buffs now worth even more than they used to be, and you're just giving up Vulcan off of a nice shove there from Bjergsen, but big summoner spells used in this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good job, I think, denying the follow-up from EG, because when Vulcan actually finds this angle, you start thinking maybe Bjergsen's just going to die 100-0 between the damage coming through here from JoJo as well as Danny. So we have to watch, Poppy stepping forward here, kind of zoning, and then the Ornn ult comes across as well. So you can't actually stand and fire here with an MF ulti as you would want to, knowing that the Ornn will just interrupt you.
That was a really difficult steal right there. Saw 1100 health as Inspired flashes in again for the steal. Then you have a lot of room created with the two ultimates, but Bwipo says, I don't care about your AoE. He charges in on the Ornn to make sure they can finish off that single kill for Team Liquid and at least get some gold back.
Nicely done from EG to steal that one away. Team Liquid got the 1 kill. 7 gold lead it dropped down to at one point there. This game is even.
It is critical to notice, though, that JoJo has no flash now. Hans still has both summoners. He didn't actually get pressured in that fight. So come next team fight, if it's before that flash comes back up for JoJo, there is going to be such a big target on his head. He does have the stopwatch to try to keep himself safe, but it can be tough.
And same thing for Bjergsen on this Taliyah when he's charging in, on his wall. He doesn't have a stopwatch yet. Should have enough, money by the time they get around to the next fight to purchase one, have a little bit more safety, but also going to be in the same boat. Both mid laners a little bit more vulnerable, both AD carries with the extra safety.
And you just got to look at a bit of the side lane dynamic between Bwipo and Impact. Bwipo can cast all his spells on the wave. Impact can show up and jump him, and you're going to hit him for 500 damage with your whole combo. He's just got way too much armor. Bjergsen throws out the Weaver's Wall, just again, using this to buy enough time to take the objective, and that means they get the tier 1 turret.
And I like it, right? It's not much of a commitment there from TL. EG unwilling to try to really step forward and totally contest on that. So they do give up that mid lane tier 1, more control now in this whole zone. You can see it's a dark and scary world there for EG. Yeah. They know that they're not on Baron because of that key word we see at the top of our screen here. So that is giving them the idea that they don't need to really overforce, and I think that gives TL the idea that they need to go sweep it out, and they are going to find that, and now it really does become a difficult choice. Are you willing to face check? When do you move up?
So they can just charge up mid lane here, rotation over towards the split push for Inspired. This, if he shows, it would give Team Liquid authority to start up and bait on that Baron. Doesn't actually commit to it though.
Team Liquid just taking the reset instead. Hans and CoreJJ just now coming back out of the base. Hans has upgraded Kraken Slayer through the Ornn. He's got a stopwatch too.
It's a pretty risky play to fully commit your jungler to showing bottom lane, especially versus an Ornn, with all of Team Liquid having vision control over Baron. So I think that was good that EG did not fully commit to that one and go for the reset.
And you can see that JoJo, he bought that blasting wand. I was kind of curious if he was going to go, towards a voice staff, but now he's gone back for the large rod. So it feels like he just wanted the blasting wand because he wanted to buy something for that previous fight. But it does mean your death cap is going to be really delayed. He doesn't even actually have an inventory spot for another large rod. So he has pushed himself quite a bit back on his build. IE is already done for Hans. He's ready to go, and TL are on Baron.
TL started up. Bwipo is slowly going to meander his way over to the rest of the team. Bjergsen will send out the Weaver's Wall to stop the approach from Evil Geniuses. They've already got the Baron. It's already done. Bwipo finds the Ornn ulti on 2. Vulcan now going to be locked down. Impact's ready to come in, and Bjergsen's getting shredded. Santorin still in the back. Can TL get out of this? EG's got an opportunity for some damage. Impact goes in. They take out Hans. Inspired now looking for more. Bwipo's the one who's under pressure. Core and Santorin still trying to walk it off. There's the shutdown. Money in JoJo's pocket. Team Liquid may have taken the Baron, but EG eliminate 2.
And there's only 15 seconds left on this dragon, so while you get the Baron, you probably also are conceding this dragon plus 2 kills. EG, because of the chase down there, they're pretty happy with that. That puts them to sole point.
Absolutely. I actually favor their position from here. The initial play looked great. They're able to rush it down, but they just couldn't get the exit. Bjergsen's Weaver's Wall buys them the time to finish it, but it's EG who come up on top in the fight because they're playing for the kills.
Yeah, they chased Danny on this misfortune, but as soon as he turned around and he got space away from Bwipo, he just lets loose with the misfortune ultimate. 50% of HP on most of the Team Liquid players there, and the chase down comes when the teleport from JoJo enables him to wrap around through.
And we can see it in the Rocket Flip the Switch replay here. Danny coming in from the side, Bwipo playing zoning duty, but it does mean they're taking all this chip damage while TL is getting pushed away on the side. They all try to collapse over onto Danny.
And look at this, Danny, he kites away from the Ornn. The ultimate lets loose. Impact gets the double knockups here onto Bjergsen and Hans, and they both have to flash out of it because of that. And then once JoJo finishes his teleport, he can join to chase the rest of them off. Inspired and Impact, by the way, creating so much space. They just pinned Hansama against the wall there. After Hansama had to flash away from the Misfortune Ultimate, nowhere else he could go.
And there were so many low health bars on the side of the Evil Geniuses, but without the Jinx there, without Hansama there to try to clean some of this up and turn this around, there was just no way for TL to fight back.
And it's the power of these corridors. When you're trying to funnel through again, you're trying to funnel through into this MF. Vulcan moves forward, the front line moves forward to create that space for Danny to get that ultimate off, and now he has the IE. Yes, Hans is working towards his next item, but that Infinity Edge is such a big spike here for Danny, and when he hits 16, which is not that far away, that level 3 ultimate, that can be 100-0 if you can't get out of it.
Absolutely. Misfortune, one of the most ult-centric AD carry champions in League of Legends. That level 16 power spike will be huge, and Evil Geniuses should have no difficulty getting that one before this Drake Soul fight. If they can secure an Infernal Soul on top of the damage that JoJo and Danny already have, things are going to become very, very difficult for TL. But for now, we're just gonna chill, because Baron's expiring in 5 seconds. They won't be able to push much more with that, and now it'll be multiple minutes before there's any neutral objective.
Something huge though, this recall should be death cap for JoJo. He should have the gold here, I do believe. Has maybe a tiny little bit he has to wait for. Wow, he's actually coming out of base, so he's about 100 short off of it. Did not elect to stay on the map, so he's gonna go for blue, and then the blue should be death cap gold, but that is an enormous spike, because he's sitting on 2,300 gold right now, and he will have that before their next major fight. And this is also double Infernal. Those stats are quite effective, you know, this late into the game, amping up the AP and the AD. TL just have a little bit of regen from their one dragon. If you get triple Infernal Soul on MF and JoJo, I think it's over.
Team Liquid, as soon as they see jojopyun pushing on top side, though, they can rush down the other side of the map. They're going for impact. Taliyah wall is available.
Okay, can they get him? Santorin's running in there. He's gonna lead the way. Nice use of the steadfast presence. Nice comboing of the CC. Impact doing a very good job healing up. Impact stays alive, and EG's ready to turn it around. They have lost their top laner, but can they do it? Hans Sama takes out JoJo, and TL's fighting back. Bjergsen goes in with the Weaver's wall, and now Danny just barely escapes the seismic shove. He flashed forward.
He wanted to kill Hans Sama, but CoreJJ's right next to him. Team Liquid, they get everything here. They can hard push.
Yeah, Hans is surviving there. Getting the reset was so big. They put him into the GA immediately, but they didn't have the damage to finish him off. JoJo arrives, gets burst down. Could this be the game? Are they going to try to push through and win it right here? I don't know. It's just the Leona and the Trundle.
They got 10 seconds, and the Aatrox is back alive. 15 on the Viktor. There should not be enough time.
They're posturing for it.
To end the game here, I wouldn't think.
I think it's just inhibitor. I think it's just inhibitor here for Team Liquid, but the key here is really punishing those differences in the item spikes. That GA being done for Hans Sama, the whole extra item here for AD carry was big because he got caught against the wall. He got burned down there in the Misfortune ultimate, but after the ultimate is down and he gets back up, CoreJJ has him.
And watch JoJo. JoJo is actually on the top side, so he goes back to base. He wants to get his death cap before he TP's in. The TP comes in, and after they get this initial kill, it looks like it's going to be EG's fight to win. They have that pillar against the wall. They find Hans. They burst him down. But then now watch JoJo on the side here as he enters. He just gets CC'd up on the respawn and bursts down. Exhaust, seismic shove, knock up. Can't get anything out.
In the Hans versus JoJo. Oh, never mind.
We're not done. We're not done. Inspired's here on the front line. Slam back into the Weaver's wall from Bjergsen, but now Santorin's going to be shredded by the Chaos Storm. Vulcan dies first. Impact is about to die second. He barely escapes. He uses stasis, but it's only a tombstone. Hans Sama gets the kill.
Oh my goodness. Bjergsen comes up with another giant seismic shove. We're questioning if he could get the same sort of seismic shove impacts in this game as the previous ones with the setup. He got JoJo in the previous fight on bottom side, and he gets EG again here, securing the dragon, denying the soul from Evil Geniuses, and they've got 28 seconds left on the death timer here for Impact. Team Liquid aren't done yet. They can transition to Baron.
Yeah, this is a bit of a risky take, though. We'll see, because Danny is 16, does have ult. JoJo has no ultimate, but is 16 himself as well.
The front line.
It's just gone. They're not going to be able to even get over there to check it, so TL opening up a big gold lead now. Bjergsen back-to-back fights, hitting massive seismic shoves. You said it, Kobe. Didn't need the setup. Does it himself.
Really, really good past couple of minutes coming out from Team Liquid here in this one. Just taking a game that was on a knife's edge and finding their opening. I said it was going to come down to who finds that bigger, badder play. TL did.
And Santorin was talking about, too, how confident he feels when he's got Hansama's Jinx on his team. And Hansama's Jinx is
Impact
paying
again.
them back tenfold.
All right, Impact gets away thanks to the Blast Cone.
And this is a game that could have all come down to that fight around that bot lane tri-brush, right? If Hansama actually dies there, EG likely are the ones who get sold. They come out way ahead. EG now, though, hunting here.
League of Legends is a game of inches.
Also, if you're looking back at the replay of that fight, CoreJJ escaped the MF ult with less than 100 HP as well. It actually so slim, the margins that Team Liquid won by.
Inches, centimeters, whatever you want to measure it in, this game has been close. But now Evil Geniuses stand with their backs against the wall. It is Team Liquid with total control over the map with that Baron buff for nearly another 2 minutes.
And Hans has both summoners, and the game is really all about him. He's 6 items. He's 4,500 gold ahead of his counterpart, Danny. So that is their whole lead. It's Hansama, right? So he has to perform in these fights. He has to stay safe in these fights. If EG can somehow lock him down and burst him down, they're trying to force something out, but Danny just uses the ult there for wave clear and not even really breaking the shields from CoreJJ.
That is a bit of a problem. No MF ult should be a big green light for the side of Liquid. If they can keep this push going, they may just be able to end the game here. Hansama gonna put the damage into the tier 3 turret. He'll get excited off of that one.
JoJo!
Inspired and JoJo trying to find the move, but they get ran over. That's it. Team Liquid. They take out the enemy mid. They take out the enemy jungle. Hansama just went main character mode. Danny wants to get one back on Santorin, but it ain't gonna happen. You guys said, could TL do it? Could they find the win on red and make it happen? Yes, they can. Team Liquid, match point.
Hansama Jinx keeps on buffing up those legendary stats game after game here in playoffs.
TL showing up big time when it matters most here. That fight in bot side, the seismic shove from Bjergsen onto JoJo, set it up with the spellbook exhaust that he had, slows him down, nails the seismic shove, and he's just put into the bounce castle there. It's all about JoJo and Hans. Hans had that GA to come back up, but you had to think JoJo's just gonna delete him as soon as he does, but he gets hit by a seismic shove, knocked up by Bwipo, burst down, and to me, that fight bot side was the game.
Team Liquid approached this series with a min-max type of attitude. We want to maximize our AD carry and minimize yours. Focus on to Danny in the draft, in the game. Focus on to Hans in the draft, in the game. And it's showing up and winning them games.
These are the two teams that have invested so much in this year, and only one team gets the big payoff here in playoffs. So much riding on this next game.
And now it's match point for TL, and that is really, really going to amp up the pressure that much more from EG. You are one Nexus explosion away from your year ending after being the defending champions, after dominating in Summer Split in the regular season, and these expectations that they would go to Worlds, it felt like a foregone conclusion at the end of the Summer Split.
Yeah.
Here they are, one game away from it being gone.
We've seen splits before. We've seen years before where you can win spring and then look shaky in summer. That's not the story for EG. They were 15-3 in the regular season, and now they're staring down the barrel of a series that could end in one game unless they can figure out the answer to Team Liquid. With TL up in the series, we're joining up with the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. Mark, we had said it. If Team Liquid's going to come away in this series, they're going to have to find an answer and a win on red side. They scraped by in that one after almost losing it in the mid game.
Yeah, but everything else I said was basically wrong because I was like, they got to solve the Aatrox problem. And it was like, leave it through. That's the solve for it. So I was really impressed with some of the choices they made in this draft. I did not instantly love it when I saw this, but I think it just spoke to how good Hans can be late game team fights for the most part, and Bjergsen as well. Like, it was not like a draft dub to me when I look at this.
Aatrox not a problem though. Aatrox not a problem if we pretend it doesn't exist.
I like the conclusion though, Solo. Ornn 3 pick.
The Ornn man.
Yeah. They copied our strategy. Ornn third pick is definitely good. And they did kind of what we talked about after game one, which is keep it super simple, because Hans is going to carry, Ballin's going to carry. And they did that, just get a tank, get a mage mid, and just play around Hans, and he'll just dish his damage.
Yeah, Hans is going to carry. He's going to carry even harder when he gets spoon-fed first blood. off of an intelligent collapse onto JoJo. I think it was you, Solo, as well, who said, like, probably that's a little bit of, prep from noticing patterns from earlier games, just being able to catch JoJo out early, hand that first blood over.
Yeah, the PL analyst getting paid a little extra for that one.
Oh, and then this. 1v1 supportal combat. Let's go.
All right, so to defend Vulcan a little bit here, he was absolutely moving to help JoJo, and then JoJo got flicked under the turret, and he lost his mid prio from his mid laner. So then he's like, wait, why did I just EQ on top of a Lulu?
Yeah. And I know I said that TL kind of scraped by, and this is what I'm referencing. A couple sketchy moments, Emily, where the game almost slipped away from them.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this was one of them. I will say, to Solo's point about this composition, it's very easy to, this is very funny, where like, I'm not sure if Inspired would have come back, but since he gets Poppy ulted back, he's like, yeah, I'll help you out. This is the game-deciding fight for me, I believe. Yeah, it's where basically when JoJo TP's in, he comes into the fight. Danny actually does land a really nice MF ult, and then they all try to get on top of Hansama, and then here comes the Ornn, right on top of JoJo. He's not able to do anything in this fight, even after TPing in. And what looks like a really good fight for EG completely turns around.
Yeah, quite a few unforced errors there from Evil Geniuses. That one was one example. There was, it's not going to be in the reel, but Danny getting soloed by Ornn on bot side, like that happened. And so like it was pretty rough from that point forward, and Ornn was just feasting.
I think that's the second or third triple flick that Bjergsen did this game. There were quite a few fights where it's like, oh, who knows how it's going to go, and then he was able to drop a ton of damage. I think he was an absolute stud in the late game.
80%.
Yeah, look at that. I was joking. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm excited to see Bjergsen and Taliyah again, even though we were kind of surprised, right? Because LeBlanc was still up, Ari was still up, and then he had a few sketchy walls in the beginning, so we were like, I don't know, maybe I'll walk that back. But his mid to late game Taliyah performance in so many of these team fights was crucial to their success.
He's learning, he's scaling as the game goes on. Look at the damage output that coming out of that Jinx, like we mentioned. It seems like they have found their strategy.
Yeah,
Hans solely playing around Hans.
Hansama performed really well in the later fights. There were times where Leona was chucking out ultis, and he was, recognizing it, and it was useless. So good job from them. I think they're going to continue to do this. It's going to be on Evil Geniuses to try and change this, and or at least match it, because TL has a strategy they can play towards now.
And I think the solution they need to go for is Inspire needs to be active early game, and especially active bot lane. Similar to what Santorin has been doing, like ganking bottom level 2, trying things that are a little bit obscure. I think this game, like level 3 or 4, he could have gone for a bot lane dive onto the Jinx and the Lulu, and I think that would have like really broken it open. You want to get your Leona ahead, but he opted to just do some weird thing mid. So I think he needs to step up. He's kind of been quiet just every game so far, and even like our playoff matches against him, not really doing a ton early. So I don't know if it's a pick thing. Maybe he needs to get something a little bit more aggressive, like he played Lee Sin, but yeah, he needs to do more.
I think it's a fair request of our presumptive MVP here in the league.
Also, JoJo had a tough game out of the lane phase. He had the flick back where he kind of lost that prio that we talked about, but also in multiple team fights, kind of not being able to step forward. The one that happened in the top lane right before the game ended, also kind of getting blown up early and finished off by Ornn. It does feel like, I know you were questioning the Viktor pick a little bit when it got locked in, and then kind of looks like you were right, where it's just so hard to play team fights out.
Yeah, there's just too much going on for Viktor to ever survive.
EG is going to stick to blue, though, right? So even after TL has shown, like, hey, we can find the answer, we can find the win on red, EG says, no, we're sticking to our guns. Obviously some might change in the draft. But as we're on series point here, Mark, I think it's important for us to kind of recall and remember, again, the slate of players that makes up this TL roster and the accomplishments that they have. And they are now one game away from adding an extra Worlds appearance to every single one of those player cards there. Bwipo would have 5, 4 for Santorin, 6 for Bjergsen, 3, or it would become 4 for Hansama. And then I love how CoreJJ's list is so long, we didn't even put his Worlds appearance on there. I guess that's what you get when you win one and you run her up on one. Like, doesn't matter how many times you went, you hoisted that trophy.
Been a lot of times. So this is just speaking to not just like how close they are to getting another appearance for them, but also the hurdle that EG are going to need to overcome 2 games in a row now.
Wow.
Now they've kind of given up that blue side advantage after Team Liquid got that upset. So they're feeling pretty good, I bet.
Raz, what do you want to see here? Everybody wants 5 games. Everybody wants 5 games.
It's going to be really tough One thing I really love about Red Side is the fact that you can, and they used it in this game where it was like pick Ornn and you can ban the two, and they chose, I think it was Gwen and GP as bans. So I like that quite a bit. So maybe won't be able to do that. Trundle first pick, I like, and if they can get Azir, even better. So I think just aiming for something like that, or even the Seraphine first pick. I think there are a lot of first pick that you can go for. Drafts have been working in a way in which you're probably not going to get the Azir that you want. But team fight, just straightforward front to back team fighting. I think they had the right idea. The Viktor is probably something that you didn't want to look for, but EG's just been, for me, losing off of just plays in team fighting. So I don't think it's going to be decided in draft personally. I just want to see moments in the game where Danny's performing in team fights or is in the right positions at and not falling in lane. And to your point, Inspired being more influential early.
Do we feel like, okay, with Inspired needing to become more active, is that somewhere where you also look to JoJo to like get back towards just straight up roaming along with him? Because we've talked a lot about how, you know, getting him out of lane, or at least that switch in style from spring to summer for JoJo, where he used to be so much more lane dominant. Even Bjergsen said in that interview with Travis, right? Like, he was a more exceptional laner in spring, it seems, than he is in summer. I wonder if he's almost too much trying to like, you know, step up to Bjergsen as opposed to like rely on what's worked for them in summer.
I mean, I think that's a fair point because JoJo has just been an exceptional roamer throughout the split, and that's something that we always kind of give him credit for. And even when he was in an interview saying that, like, that's the biggest takeaway that he had from MSI is just finding better times to roam and all these things. That could help, especially if the Taliyah is starting to become the champion in the series for Bjergsen. That might be a good takeaway.
All right, fair enough. We wait on bated breath to see if EG can extend the series all the way to 5 games. Our reigning champs find themselves down in the series. We'll see if they can extend their season and hopes, or if Team Liquid will lock it all up here in game number 4 right after this.
Is that a GP or what? No, it's me drinking water. Okay, man.
The problem is JoJo already had Termite aggro. He's down to 100 HP. CoreJJ and Vulcan, supportal combat! Finish him! And Bjergsen is down. Santorin wants to run, but he will not escape this time. And EG's ready to turn it around. They have lost their top laner, but can they do it? Hansama takes out JoJo, and TL's fighting back.
They give us love. They give us joy. They give us lessons in sharing. So give them some love back. And what says love better than something you can chew on? Use your MasterCard to make secure purchases from anywhere. So your gift will end up in the right hands or mouth. Because being there for each other is priceless.